Before you sit down, Tom, I'll save you one trip up and down. Let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning. Welcome to the July 14th meeting of the Delaware County Transportation Improvement District. I'm Chris Boserman, County Engineer. To my left, Cy Keeley, the Treasurer for our association and our district. And fellow members Pat Blaney and Tom Price are here as well. Mike Fromer, County Administrator, is not with us today and is out of town. So with that, we'll move ahead with our agenda. And I also would like to recognize our two of our county commissioners, Gary Merrill and Jeff Benton, are here with us as well. Thank you, gentlemen. And the second item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes from our last meeting, which was March the 10th of this year.
I'd like to make a motion to approve those minutes.
I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion carries. Under the chairman's report, I have simply one piece of information to pass along. That last week I met with Congressman Balderson and some of his staff and the city of Delaware, and the congressman has made the effort to place what they're calling community. Jeff, you probably know the name better than I do. But they're basically earmarks that they're calling by a different name or being reintroduced into the federal transportation bill. And so in Delaware County, he has included funding for the 36-37 interchange, a piece of funding for that, and for the Point project in Delaware. And so he came to town to do a tour of those two projects, and so we did that with his staff. And I just wanted to say publicly thank him for his interest and efforts in transportation funding and planning here in Delaware County and throughout his district. And he updated us on the status of the federal transportation bill. It has been passed out of the House. It is in the Senate. The Senate hasn't even yet formally concurred that they're going to allow the earmark projects to be in their bill, but there seems to be some willingness to consider that. And so in the coming months, I know Jeff was very involved in helping us get to that point with Congressman Balderson. Sounds like an effort to do that with Senator Portman is probably in order, and so we'll need to think about maybe we can talk about how to facilitate that. But Troy is a member on the Transportation Infrastructure Committee, and so he's got his hands really involved in transportation stuff, and we appreciate his interest. I was glad he came back to the district and showed up personally for that. So that's all I have to include in my report. Our item 4 will be our Secretary Treasurer's report. Cy, could you update us on where we stand financially?
Yeah, our current cash balance is $5,708,087.37. Also happy to report that our 2020 audit is complete and we had a clean audit, no comments.
That's the way we like it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cy, and thanks for your work in all of that. I'd entertain a motion to accept the Secretary Treasurer's report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are there any reports from other committee members?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to invite all of you to the grand opening of Life Point's new church on 23 there at Menards. This group had a little bit of a say in, Chris, with the Graphics Parkway, and looks nice. It'll be August 29th, and we've got I don't know where, I'm sure most of you have been by there, but it's quite a facility. We've got great buy-in from the community, and it's going to be exciting. So we've been in a rented facility or leased facility right there beside it for the last 10 years. Started off with a small group of about 10 people in there that wanted to plant a church in the Lewis Center, Delaware County area, and it's grown now to where oh golly, we've got 2 services and we're back to normal now, 600 to 800 per service. And the really neat thing is that there's about 200 to 300 little guys come into that church every Sunday. And last Sunday I was greeting at the little guy's door. Of course it's raining, and you're seeing, little guys, so you know you got a young audience. And that's, to me, that's pretty exciting. So I will invite all of you to come, and I believe the first service is at 9:30, and then there's an 11.
Great.
And hopefully I'll be greeting at the south doors, and we'll see you all. Thank you.
Tom, thanks for that update. It's probably important to just expound a little bit that the Graphics Way connection there was necessary to facilitate the church and their access, and it's a perfect example of what the TID can do with partners, with the church, the AEP, the commissioners, and of course it's a township road, and so the township trustees consenting to that. All an important thing. They have a lot of partners, and that's the kind of thing the TID is really well suited for, is to get a lot of people together to cooperate on something.
And the public positiveness of the project. Just, we need more churches in this country, and this is just one of them. So this is about the first church I understand in that township that's been built. Now there's been some additions, Grace Baptist and so on. So anyway, I was proud to be a part of that.
Tom, is the grand opening a separate event or one service?
No, it's just a normal service. We'll have soft openings the 2 Sundays before that. So that we'll be into the church 2 Sundays before that. We're going to have 3 online only meetings starting this Sunday will be the last Sunday in the leased facility. Then we'll have 3 off-site while you're getting everything put together over there, and then 2 soft ones, and then the 29th. The gentleman, Dean Folks, is lead pastor, and his dad he'd take time, but his dad's a farmer down the southern part of Ohio, down at Point Pleasant. Down there. And I wanted to visit a guy who on an old hill farm, quote unquote, raised a family of ministers of sorts, and it's pretty neat. So Dean is well known throughout the U.S. I'm surprised we've been able to keep him here in Delaware. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Tom. Are there any other reports from committee members? If not, I'll move on to the staff report, and I'll ask Rob Riley, Chief Deputy Engineer, to fill us in.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. I will included in your packet is the monthly staff report. I guess it's more than monthly now for this meeting, but I'll basically just talk about some of the projects we have going on. The 71, 36, 37 interchange, you'll recall from the last meeting we discussed that project. We are currently working with MS Consultants, negotiating a contract for that project to move through final design on Phase A. My hope is we have an update for you in August, if not a contract by that point. So more to come on that, but just as a reminder, there is some development activity in that area that will help pay for that project. The County Commissioners and Village of Sunbury recently approved a development agreement for a multifamily project at Africa Road and US 36. The TIF revenue from that project would be pretty significant. It's in the tens of millions of dollars, and so that project will help fund at least Phase A, if not more, of the interchange. And those TIF revenues, thankfully, will be dedicated towards the interchange as a result of that agreement. Any questions on that project or comments? Second project, Holman Sawmill Parkway. You'll recall this is a improvement we have planned to facilitate the OSU Ambulatory Care Center. In your packet is a presentation that I gave to ODOT, Jobs and Commerce, about a month, 2 weeks ago, I guess. ODOT did things a little bit differently this year for the TID application cycle. They had 10 to 15 minute presentation slots for each of the applicants. There's currently 54 TIDs in the state, I believe. And so it was several days of presentations for ODOT. Basically, I presented what's shown in the packet. We are asking for $500,000. The cap was increased this year from $250,000 to $500,000 for a maximum award. So total project cost with including engineering and land acquisition is about $3.89 million. Construction cost is about 3.2. And so I have not yet heard back from ODOT about any awards they've made. I would expect that relatively soon because we're now into the 2022 fiscal year. So I would expect them to announce those awards pretty shortly. Just as a recap on that, the state has closed on that 29-acre parcel. Earlier this year, OSU requested an extension of the zoning approval from the city of Powell. I think they got slowed down by COVID, so they asked for a 2-year extension on their approval for that site, in which the city provided. So more to come on that one. There's a resolution we'll get to in just a moment regarding the project agreement for this project, and we can cover the rest at that point. Heights Road and US 23, if you've been by there, actually last Friday, the final surface course was placed and striped, and so all the lanes are in the permanent condition. Signals operating. It's basically done except for a little bit of cleanup work. So we're very glad to have that project done. It did take longer than we expected. Unfortunately, we had some utility conflicts early on in the project that slowed us down, but we were able to get the project done. And it looks good. It's moving a lot more traffic now, particularly with closure on Home Road. There's a lot more traffic going through that intersection right now. So we'll be finalizing the costs over the next 2 months or so with the final invoice, and then I would expect to bring you a certification probably in October of this year. And then finally, the North Road extension. This is the roundabout project and the extension of the new road to the elementary school. As of Friday, project is about 80% complete. Still have some paving to do, but basically everything else is done. Still need to do final grading and seeding, but for the most part, that project is nearly done, and we'll have that wrapped up by August 1st without a problem. So, and then again, we'll wrap up the final costs probably for a certification in October. That is the extent of my report, and happy to
Yes, sir.
One question, going back to the Heights Road, did the ability of the TID to work through here help with the utility thing that, you know, caused the backup, or did it make any difference?
Well, I don't know that the TID or anyone else could have helped us in that situation.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we have, I think we do a pretty good job of, at the engineer's office, do a good job of getting plans out to utilities well in advance of the project. The utilities knew about that project over a year in advance, had a schedule to meet. They didn't, to be blunt, and so we were left trying to work around them, but
It was a casualty of the year, so.
yeah, it was, and I'm sure COVID had an impact on everyone, including utilities. But I will say that although the sanitary portion of that project took longer than expected, there was certainly some synergy in having the road and the sanitary project combined, although there were issues. There's always issues with any sanitary project, but I think overall we're glad that that was lumped together, because that would have been a very difficult project to have two contractors tripping over each other through the duration of that project. So,
Thank you.
yes. And that, if there's no other questions, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Rob. The next item on our agenda is the appointment of officers for the 2021-22 term. I think that was, we're supposed to do that in March, or excuse me, in May, and we did not have a May meeting, and so we need to do that now.
I'd like to make a motion that the current slate of officers be retained for the next term.
Second, please.
Motion and a second. So for clarification, that would be Cy Keeley as Secretary Treasurer, Mike Fromer as the Assistant Chair, and myself as the Chair. Is that your intention, Mr. Blaney? to be
Yes,
clear?
sir.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion about that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have one resolution for consideration, and Rob teed that up for us. It is the project agreement for the Home Road and Sawmill Parkway Improvement Project. And basically it's our agreement with the Delaware County Commissioners, and would entertain any questions or a motion to move forward with that.
I'd like to move, we go forward with that home road extension.
Thank you, Tom. Is there a second?
I'd like to second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Under other business, I'd like to make a suggestion. I guess it's in recognition of our August 11th meeting. We had talked some time ago about doing some kind of field presence for some of our projects. I'm going to suggest for discussion that after our August 11th meeting, maybe we could pile in and go to a couple of these sites that Rob highlighted in his report. Maybe look at some of the projects that have been completed and just do kind of a group tour of those. If you all feel that would be appropriate, I think it would be worth our time. And
Well, you guys made the front page of the Gazette above the fold. Maybe we could get on the back page, you know?
maybe bottom back lower left corner.
Mr. Chairman, I think that's a wonderful idea. I think the only issue is a potential schedule conflict. Mr. Blaney and Mr. Keeley and myself are members of the Evans Farm NCA board
you have
that
that.
meets at 10:30, so.
Would
Yeah.
could we look at bumping that a day, or I don't think we don't want to kick it a month if
Yeah, let's
We'll move
Let's
that.
do that. Why don't we change our meeting date here?
I cannot do the 10th, but I could do the 12th, the day after that's the 12th. Does anybody have a conflict with that?
Let's see.
That'd be the 12th of August.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
It'd be what, I'm sorry?
If I can
Yeah.
interrupt for a hot second, we
Yeah.
have commissioner sessions on Thursdays.
Okay?
We'll do it Friday.
Friday morning, the 13th?
Yeah, that works for me.
Tom?
August is kind of up in the air with us, so. I would,
There's
I don't
nothing
see why
magic, there's
not.
nothing magical about about our tour being in August. We could defer that to September and still hold our August meeting,
Yep.
on the 11th. Why don't we do that?
You're right, so we just pick another date other than the 8th in
So
August.
September 8th would be our
Yeah, so we'd be going
follow-up.
to,
We could,
going to some other day.
you still have your Evans Farm
Yes, we do.
Community Authority meeting on, it's always on the same
It's always on the
Wednesday
same.
after this.
Yeah, once in a
So-
while, there's a meeting cancellation. I think there's only been one in all the time we've been meeting, which was last month, but
Let's,
We can-
let's defer that
All right.
then till our August meeting, and we'll talk about it in the
All right.
context of our September date.
okay.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
All right. Is there any other business to come before our board this morning? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 We stand adjourned. Thank you.